Today, our topic is Jesus keeps his promises. And I want to tell you a story, and I'm going to let you choose which one of three stories you'd like to have me tell, because whichever one of the three I tell, they'll bring out the same thought that Jesus keeps his promises. My name is Coon. I will be willing to give you a wonderful dog story. How many like a dog story? Oh, good. But I'll tell you something that's more clever than a dog. It's a fox. And if you'd like, I'll tell you a real fox story. How many like a fox? Good. But since my name is Coon, I'd like to tell you a coon story. How many like a coon story? Well, now, all right, I'll tell you all three in one. And the fox story revolves around one name, Sonny Fox. His name was Fox. He wasn't a fox, but his name was Fox. And he was 6 years old when the story started. When I saw him, he was 14. So the fox story will be what happened in his life, how Jesus kept his promises. And it'll thrill you. I know it will. The dog story revolves around Sonny Fox's dog, Daisy. Daisy was a nice, big, delightful dog. And Daisy enters into the picture very dramatically. The coon part is, when I learned about the story, I went to see Sonny Fox, and I learned that this story is true. And you'll be happy to know it's true, because it ends up with somebody who comes to life again as the result of Sonny Fox's prayer, which shows that Jesus keeps his word. All right. So all three stories in one, okay? See, that's for economy's sake. Sonny Fox was 6 years of age. He lived in Columbus, Georgia. Now you'll have to be very attentive, because any minute I may turn and ask you a question, and you'll want to be as to what I said. For instance, what was his name? Sonny Fox. That's right. Very good. And he lived in Columbus, Georgia, which is a very damp place. Very damp. And Sonny was deathly sick unto death. They rushed him to the hospital, the doctor, and the doctor said, Sonny, his disease is the type that he must get out of where it is so wet. He must get to a very dry climate, namely Arizona. You get him to Arizona, don't you waste any time, because if you do, he will die. So hurry and waste no time. So Mother Fox decided they would sell things as fast as they could, and if they couldn't sell them fast enough, they would give them away. And among the various things that she was going to do was to give Daisy, because she was a big dog, and they had to travel in a car and take everything in a car. So since Daisy was so big, they're going to take his little puppy dog with them and give Daisy to a fine lady who had a nice home, we'll say Miss Green. So she made arrangements with Miss Green to have Daisy. But when little Sonny, how old was Sonny? 6, that's right. Good. 6 years old. So when little Sonny, 6 years old, learned that Daisy couldn't go to Arizona, he was brokenhearted. He came to the house and he said, Mommy, would you please let Daisy go with us to Arizona? She said, Sonny, we're going to take the little puppy. We can't take a big dog. When it comes time to eat dinner, there'll be no room for food, because the dog takes all the room. So we'll have to eat. So we're going to take the little puppy with us. But, Mommy, would you please take Daisy? Sonny, I've explained to you that we have a nice home already for Daisy. Miss Green has a lovely place. She loves doggies, and she's going to be so nice. But, Mommy, please. Sonny, I'm telling you, Daisy cannot go. And with that, he fell down on his knees, and he looked up to Jesus. He said, Dear Jesus, would you please let Daisy go to Arizona? And he gets up from his knees. He said, Mommy, Daisy is going to Arizona. Isn't that wonderful? Mommy said, Sonny, I told you Daisy cannot go to Arizona. Yes, she's going, Mommy. Why do you tell me that, Sonny? I've told you that Daisy cannot go to Arizona. Yes, she's going, Mommy. Sonny, you've always been so obedient, and now all at once You're contradicting me. Why are you saying it? Because, Mommy, when I was on my knees and I asked Jesus to let Daisy go to Arizona, I heard Jesus say, Sonny, Daisy may go to Arizona. Sonny, I didn't hear Jesus say that. I know you didn't, Mommy, but I did. Now let me ask you a question. If Jesus gives you a promise and nobody else knows about it, don't you have a right to claim it? Yes, because he said, God is not a man that he should lie. Hath he said, shall he not do it? She said, Sonny, I'm telling you now, Daisy cannot go to Arizona. So there, and just as she said it, Miss Green was knocking at the door. She hadn't heard the conversation. And Mrs. Fox went to the door. Mrs. Green said, Mrs. Fox, something very interesting just happened a few minutes ago. Somebody came past my place with a lovely little puppy. It's a kind of a puppy that I've wanted all the while, so we shall not need Daisy. So Daisy went to Arizona, and Sonny got an answer to prayer. Now, when you get an answer to prayer, do you know how happy it makes you? Will you laugh with me? He was so happy that he got an answer to prayer. Jesus said, ask, and you'll receive, and your joy will be full. He was so happy. But you know what? He was falling in love with Jesus. And Satan doesn't want anybody to fall in love with Jesus, does he? And you know Satan is a devil. Satan is a devil, and he's determined to make Sonny fall out of love with Jesus. So Satan had a committee meeting to learn how they could agree to make Sonny fall out of love with Jesus. He called in all his associate devils. A lot of them. All kinds of devils came in. Great tall devils. My. Then there was a little short devil. Then there was a big fat devil. All these devils, all kinds of sizes and shapes and minds came in, and the big fat devil plunked himself up. And the little devil went, and the big tall devil. And Satan said, now we are as mad as the devil. Because we are devils. And we are not going to let Sonny Fox fall in love with Jesus. What do you suggest that we do? And all of them looked. They said, And the great tall devil said, oh, I have an idea what we'll do. They talked over, they said, there must be a better one. The little short devil said, I have an idea what we'll do. They talked over, they said, we better have a better one. The big fat devil said, I've got a big idea what we'll do. And they said, what's that? He said, we'll kill Daisy. That's what we'll kill Daisy. You'll do what? We'll kill Daisy. They said, that's what we'll do. Because Daisy was an answer to prayer, we'll kill her. And they all said, The big tall devil said, wee. The little short devil said, the big fat devil said, all these devils. By this time, they'd gotten down to Arizona. And Daisy decided to kind of look around the house a little bit, a little farther out. And one day, she was quite a distance out. And one of these devils came to a nearby neighbor and said, why don't you go hunting? And the neighbor took his shotgun. And Satan said to him, see, there's a fox. Kill it. It was Daisy. And the hunter went, bang, 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 bang. And Daisy slumped. Didn't quite kill her. Almost. But she was just able to drag herself to the house. Would you come with me a minute? I'll show you how we drag ourselves to the house. This is how Daisy went. And you'll do as I do. Thank you. Oh, that was good. And Daisy slumped down in the corner and was dying. And little Sonny Fox did what, do you guess? Knelt right down and prayed. And he said, Dear Jesus, you didn't send Daisy to Arizona for her to die. Would you please heal Daisy? And he gets up from his knees. Mommy, Daisy is going to get well. Sonny, Daisy is dying now over in the corner. Why do you say she's going to get well? And the fact that Jesus told him before makes me believe he told him again. Sonny, Daisy can get well. Jesus has promised me. But Sonny, Daisy's too sick to get well. No, Mommy, Daisy can get well. And Daisy got right up from where she was dying, went over to the feeding dish, and ate and got well. And it made Satan as mad as the devil. Because he is a devil. So he called his imps together again. Come in for another committee meeting. We must make Sonny fall out of love with Jesus. In they came. The great tall ones. Had to bend way down to get in the door. Little short ones. Big fat one. All these devils came in. What do you suggest we do? Jesus answered Sonny Fox's prayer and let Daisy come here. Jesus answered his prayer when Daisy was dying. He's fallen in love with Jesus. I don't blame him, do you? I would too, wouldn't you? And that's why we're holding these meetings, and for those of you who are viewing it. So they said, the tall devil said, boy, you've got an idea what we'll do. They said, that isn't good enough. The little short one said, I have an idea what we'll do. They said, that's too little. The big fat one said, I've got a big idea what we'll do. They said, that sounds big. What is that? Kill Sonny's daddy. And they said, wonderful. And somebody went, whether it was the big fat devil or the tall devil or the pygmy devil, one of them went to Daddy Fox, and he went to the hospital deathly ill. And the night that he died, his disease was so serious that they wouldn't even let Sonny there, or his mommy. That night at 11 o'clock, Mommy said, Sonny, why don't you pray for Daddy? Like you prayed for Daisy. Jesus seems to hear your prayers. Down onto his knees goes little Sonny Fox. And can't you imagine? Dear Jesus, you didn't send Daddy to Arizona for him to die. Would you please help Daddy to get well? And he gets up. Mommy, Daddy is going to get well. But he didn't know that 4 doctors had just pronounced him dead. And they'd put him on a table. They call it a gurney. Spread a sheet over it. Now, when a doctor pronounces a man dead, you know what he is? Anybody. He's dead. When 2 doctors pronounce him dead, you know what he is? He's dead, dead. When 3 doctors pronounce him dead, let's all say it together. He's dead, dead, dead. But when 4 doctors pronounce him dead, he's dead, 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 dead. So Mr. Fox was dead, 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 dead. But little Sonny Fox had prayed a prayer of faith. And the doctors were standing around this table. And like doctors or anybody is, when they're chatting, the doctor, one of them, sort of inadvertently, by habit, reached under the sheet and did this. They're still talking, hardly realizing what he was doing. And as he does it, he turns pale. Now we got a pale doctor. What do you guess he felt? Anybody? His pulse. And he calls the other doctor across the way, one of the others. He said, come and see if you feel what I feel. And the other doctor comes over. And he turns pale. Now we got two pale doctors. They call the third. Come with your stethoscope. He comes over. Now we got three pale doctors. Mr. Fox was alive. Can you blame Sonny Fox for falling in love with Jesus? Isn't it wonderful? Now, I have witnesses to this fact. This isn't just gossip. But now, that's Jesus. He keeps his promises. You know how many promises there are in the Bible? 3,573 promises, or clusters of promises, goes into the thousands. And here are the ABCs of promises. You can remember them. The A of promise is ask, Matthew 7:7. What is the A? Ask. Ask whom? Jesus. Ask Jesus to do what? What he promised. The B of promise is believe. The B of promise is what? Believe. Believe whom? Jesus. That he'll do what he's promised. The C of promise is claim. What's the C of promise? Claim. Let's give the ABCs. The A is ask, Matthew 7:7. The B is believe, Mark 11:24. The C is to claim it, that you've received it, John 11:41, if he's promised it. Now, one caution. Does every sick person I pray for, or Pastor Troy, get well? No. Who thinks you know why? Or somebody that's dead. I've never prayed for a person who's dead who's ever come to life. Can somebody tell us why that not everybody who is sick or dying that we pray for, not everyone gets well? Can someone tell us? Wait, what do you think? Exactly right. Come, let's shake hands on that. What's your name? Oscar, you are 100% plus right. Because Jesus sees what's best, doesn't he? He sees that person might not be able to have enough strength to live up to the temptations, right? So Jesus says, I'm going to let him take a nap. You see, death to a Christian isn't so bad after all. It's just a little nap. Except we don't snore. Till Jesus comes. And then he wakes us up and we're ready to go back to heaven with him. And I love Jesus. How many love Jesus?